Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Curiosity Cache. How are the players today?
Hooray.
Hungry.
Hooray, hungry. Chaz will not be joining us today, but I will be stepping into the frigid shoes of Freed, and I hope to do him proud. I'll just be like, hey, I'm bored, I'm going over here. So,
I'm also naked.
right? Fuck this. I hate clothes. So let's see. If I remember correctly, we ended last week. You were in the catacombs below Shelzar, and you had found, after like smashing these weird little clockwork kind of bug things that had attacked you, you delved deeper into the catacombs and came upon some weird, charred-looking creatures that said something in a language you couldn't understand, and then when there wasn't really a response, they attacked you. You pretty handily dealt with them, and that's where we ended. So now you're standing here. Oh, I did want to ask before we started, and I forgot. Can everyone see your astral map?
Yeah. It zoomed way out for some reason, but it's good.
And John, can you see?
Still loading. Stand by.
Gotcha. I turned on some dynamic lighting, and I know John, you've had issues with that before. So before we run into it, I can just turn it off if you can't see it.
I love
I'm
dynamic
fine.
lighting.
I like it too.
Doesn't always like it.
Yeah,
it's like,
computers on the
very
other hand.
hard. Confusing for old computers. I'm from the Stone Age, i.e., last year.
The squirrel inside your computer is just like, no, I'm not doing this.
Exactly. Please upgrade. Hey, then all right. I gotta start playing. 17 textures.
All of them. All of the textures.
Load the texture.
It's also loading the loading message loader.
And for your visions, I went in and set what your torches or lanterns are. So, Doran, like yours is based off of the torch you're carrying, and Freed is based off the lantern he has. And then the other two, so Brakaw and Decim, you both have your dark vision turned on. Just so you know.
Thank you.
All right. While you're getting that loaded up, what does everyone want to do? You're now in this kind of open space. You know that there's the ruins of these buildings. That you have these charred bodies, and you do remember one other little thing was that there were these crystals embedded in their chests, and as they died, they had been glowing slightly, and that glow went out, and this like kind of red vapor rose from their chests and disappeared. And there are 3 corpses there with you.
Gonna take some samples.
Okay. Like of the flesh or of the like what are you sampling?
Definitely a little bit of the flesh, and those crystals, are they like removable?
It would definitely take some work to essentially carve them out. They're not it doesn't look like it's in a pocket in their flesh. It's actually like kind of grown, like there's skin kind of grown up all around it, and just a bit of that gem like is peeking through.
Oh, it's really embedded, is it?
Yeah.
So does this look like take a dagger and start carving through?
Yeah, it would take some work to really get in there and pop it out.
Okay. So Brakaw got pretty hurt by one random enemy in that encounter, being very, very lucky in life.
Yeah.
For viewers last time, he got crit and he's hurt pretty bad.
That's right.
But if he's not likely to be obviously bleeding right now and contaminate whatever this gem is,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he would know if he's bleeding, or other people would be looking at him and screaming. But since that's not happening, he's going to go take a look at the body and try to start carving out gem from one of these.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely feel like injured, but you're not like spurting blood or anything like that. Like you're stable. You're not
Good.
losing hit points.
Good.
And as Decim and Brakaw begin kind of messing with these bodies, like you can smell they kind of reek of this sulfur and like burnt substance. It's not even like a like the cafe that's across from the shop. They go out and they have like grill nights and stuff, so they grill meat, and it's not even like pleasant like that. It's like this weird horrid stench that just kind of wafts up as you're like scraping off bits of it or digging into the bodies. While they're doing that, Doran, what are you doing?
Guess I'm still playing a song.
Totally fair.
No one has
Yeah,
told
they
me
haven't
to
told you
stop
stop.
Yeah.
Freed kind of eyes you and shrugs, and he's gonna wander off over back where you guys had come in from and just kind of look around. And Borla is watching what you're doing. She doesn't say anything, but she then kind of heads this way a little bit and watches off over that direction. Looks like Freed is more like wandering around because he's bored, whereas Borla is keeping watch. So Decim, you managed to like take some scrapings. Are you trying to dig out one of those crystals like Brakaw is, or are you just like taking like saliva samples and flesh samples?
Saliva and flesh mostly.
Okay.
But he will assist Brakaw
Okay.
because he just wants to see like how deep this thing goes,
Yeah.
how
So
big it is.
the answer is surprisingly deep. So as you like dig in, Brakaw, with Decim's help, like you kind of carve around the gem, and you realize that the skin has grown over like quite a bit of the edge. So even though like you see just like maybe a fist-sized gem, it's actually much larger than that. And so you end up carving away, and then you rip it out, and it's like a good almost head size of a gem, and it's this pale red. When it was lit, it looked like a glowing ruby, but now that it's dark, it's more translucent than a ruby. It's almost just a tinted red piece of quartz or something like that.
So Brock's gonna pull it out. However, it seems easiest to pull out.
Mm-hmm. And there's
Then
just like
look
this
at it.
horrendous like cracking noise as you
Yeah.
like separate it.
I'll look at it like this. Realize, have I seen one of these before?
No.
So Brakaw turns and he's palming this gem like it's a skull. So and then he just turns to the rest of the party. He's like, "Any of you see anything like this before? You know if they're cursed?"
Right after the fact. Yeah, everyone can do either a history or an arcana check if either of those is higher for you.
It's not loading for me, but I will do an Arcana check.
All right.
Wow, that's a 16.
Okay. Do you want me to hit your button there, John?
Yes, please.
Pew. So when you say it's not loading, can you not see anything, or can you see stuff but it's not bringing up your character sheet?
I'm not bringing up my character sheet. Hold on. I can see the auras, but I can't see any of the tokens.
All right, let me try something real quick. Gonna just turn off dynamic lighting. Off. How about now?
I see my turnstile, like I can turn myself around. Am I turning myself? Yeah. Am I spinning?
You are.
Okay. So I
Go ahead and try reloading now that I've turned off the. Oh, you have disappeared. Where did you go?
I still see
He
them. They're
moved.
just completely sideways. Yeah.
Yeah,
Weird.
he's sideways and he moved. So he's on somebody else.
There
They're
he
sharing
is.
the token, so I probably put them on top of me. I moved me. So.
Okay. There we go.
And are we a token short now?
No, I moved. We were.
Where's
For a
Freed?
second.
He's way over off
Freeze
on the
off
right.
to the far right.
He wandered off while you were digging away at the corpse.
Oh,
He doesn't go too far. It just looks like he's kind of scuffing the ground over there with his foot, and he glances around. Looks like he's bored, but he also doesn't like wander off by himself too far. John, if you haven't reloaded, try reloading and tell me if you come back. However, you got a 24 on your Arcana check. Everyone else, 16 and 17. So even with those 16 and 17s, they don't. I mean, it looks like a big gem. You don't really know anything about it. It doesn't seem. You don't feel like it's cursed.
While I'm playing, I'll give you the answer of. While I shake my head, and that's all you're gonna get out of me.
Yeah. And then Decim, you're looking at it, and while you haven't heard of this before, you're kind of putting two and two together, and like certain minions that I cannot think of her name, the hag woman that you know from your past.
Warmo.
No, that's the Titan, the hag woman that raised.
Oh, yes, yeah. The hag woman. Every so often she would like do these strange rites and creatures would appear, and you kind of like, while this doesn't look like those creatures, you feel like it has a similar origin. And those creatures didn't have anything like this, but somewhere in your memory, and you're not even sure where this comes from, you realize that these crystals probably controlled this creature, as opposed to it having its own free will. Interesting.
Overseer.
Right. So Freed walks back over after a bit. What are we doing?
Freed, look what I found in one of these. I think we should carve the rest out so we get something for our pain.
He kind of like winces, and then when you say, we get something out of it, he's like, yeah. And he'll go over and jump on another one of the bodies and start stabbing it. Borla is going to walk off a little ways. She says, I'm just going to make sure there's nothing over here. And she creeps out of your line of sight. So the rest of you help to dig out the rest of the gems?
Yeah, and I assume, okay, we can use these funds for a good cause. We have to keep a roof over our heads.
Yeah.
As much as I can help while dancing around and playing music still.
Sure. Well, I mean, it could very well be that your music is inspiring them to...
Yeah, it's a rhythmic help of shanking a corpse. Yeah. Let's go with that.
So you get all three of these pulled out. If nothing else, Decim, you feel like this is something that can be sold as like a component to like wizards and such. You're not really sure how you would use it personally, although you might find a way. But just off the top of your head with that arcana, you're pretty sure it would be something you could sell. And by the time everything's pulled out, Borla will walk back this direction, and she says that off that direction are some. There's a tunnel that ends in a cave-in.
How badly is everybody hurt? Desmond's going to do a quick kind of look around and check everybody out.
Yeah. Freed has like a good like scratch on him. Like he obviously got nailed once by one of the demons, but I think Brakaw is the worst off.
I haven't even been touched. Yeah, I didn't even get hit. That's it. I played a song the whole time.
Yeah, Brakaw looks like one of their. I don't remember if it was claws or something. May have gone straight through.
Desmond will pull out a vial of a very thick, viscous liquid from his bag. it looks awfully foul. And he hands it to Brakaw. And then says, "Drink this."
I turn to everyone else and say, point to my wound and say, "I apologize for the side effects, if any." Then drink it.
Free does look like he's gonna like say something before you do, and then he just like tilts his head and watches you to see what happens.
I trust Essam's heart.
So it'll be effectively cure wounds.
Okay.
So click that thing. Print. Maybe.
Just double checking here. So 1d8 plus your spellcasting modifier.
Yep.
Do you want me to roll it for you?
Plus 3.
Nice. So you get 9 back. And Freed is just like standing there waiting, like he winces a little, like he's like trying to cover his eyes in case you explode or like random gases shoot out of you.
Hey, Decim. Did you make this?
Decim nods. He looks both quite proud of himself, but also is still studying you to see if you also explode or projectile vomit or grow a second head.
You did so good. You did so good, Decim. You're the best.
Okay, so after the shock of that wears off, what does everyone want to do?
You play my song. Seems everything's going great
Yeah.
while I play song. No one's died. We vanquished the bad guys.
Right.
People are feeling better. All because of my music.
Absolutely. Brakaw, what do you want to do?
So we've got a cave in one direction.
Yep. And
How many other directions do we have?
So you came into like an intersection that's off to the right, and you ended up going left because there was a creature over there. But you know that there was like a straightforward or a right option as well.
So I think we should check one of those out.
Okay. And Decim?
We're going to be setting off. Does it seem like the group is ready to keep pressing forward?
I think Brakaw wants to go back into that intersection and pick a direction from there. And Doran is providing the musical accompaniment, the scoring to the travel sequence.
Mm. Desmond falls in line.
Okay. So I'm just going to snag everybody here and bring you back to the intersection.
Yep.
All right,
I'm still going to play a song the whole time.
Okay.
So that's what's working. So until somebody gets me to stop.
That's totally fair. So you know you came from this direction. You came up this street to the south, or remnants of a street. You can go north, and in your light you can see there appears to be another it might be a street or some kind of other passageway that's over here to the northeast. It's really hard to make out anything else that's off to the right there. What do you do?
play music at it intently.
Gets very like serious. So suspenseful.
I was about to say maybe we should try and stealth, but well,
I mean, you can absolutely try to stealth.
We can hide how many of us there are.
Exactly.
I'd imagine that the music will be very helpful in obscuring the rest of the party, so they'll think it's just one random bard.
Yeah. Decim, you have dark vision.
What are you playing? I'm curious.
Yeah, I got dark vision 60, I believe.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, Brakaw asks Doran what he's playing.
What am I playing? The lute. It's very quiet and totally in place.
Do you have a particular style you like for the lute?
No, because I don't remember how to play it. Just that the lute is important, so it's more of just like, yeah. It's more of kind of whatever noise. It's like a cacophony of sound, more than anything
right. Else. And Brakaw, him saying that you've run into a couple of Hollow Legionnaires in your time. They're a fairly new thing here on Skarn. You know that they were essentially created by a group of constructs that fought in the Divine War in the Gleaming Valley, which is north of the desert where you grew up. Like, it would take a couple of days for you to travel there from the edge of the desert. That's about the knowledge that you have, but you don't recall ever seeing a Hollow Legionnaire that wasn't clear, like wasn't their visage wasn't comprehensible, I guess. Whereas Doran's just kind of like flickers every so often, and his features aren't quite there. So when he says that it's important, but he doesn't know how, I'll leave that up to you on how you want to interpret that.
Okay. For now, I'm just going to say, look, there's a lot of wonderful diversity in the world, and move on.
That's a great statement. All right, which direction are you moving on to?
Desmond volunteers to run ahead.
Okay. Which way?
North seems to be came from the south, so let's go north, I guess.
Okay. And can you see the map now?
Yeah.
Awesome. I just don't think your computer likes dynamic lighting.
So he'll scurry here.
All right, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Perceiving. Perceptioning. 4. Okay, so you scurry off, and is everyone following him, or are they going to give him that bit of space to let his dark vision do its thing?
Are they noticeably sneaking? Like, did they sneak, or did they just run off?
Decim, are you noticeably sneaking, or are you?
Yeah, I mean he goes full crouch, and does his normal scurry.
Okay.
Rolls one on his stealth.
So, where? I don't have a stealth roll on here. I am following you as stealthily as I can. That's +4 on stealth too, so that's like a 23.
So hang on one moment.
But I'm still playing my music, just gentler, like I guess gentlier.
Sorry about that. Okay, so you're following behind, and like Freed and Brakaw and Borla notice, like, you're actually moving quite quietly, minus the playing.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's like instead of being like I'm pulling a cheese grater over the cords for the lute, it's more like I'm softly like with the back of my fingernails just strumming it
Yeah,
almost.
yeah. It actually almost sounds like music.
Yeah, except for the discordant chords and the occasional sour note. But yeah.
Right. Right, so Borla is going to follow up there, and Freed will follow, but keep you at the edge of the light. Decim.
Yeah. He will stop though to look back at the party, and then point over at his assumed progeny, and make the universal symbol for silence.
What does that look like?
Well, it's a little tiny paw in front of his face, right in front of his muzzle.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so you get up there. You notice that this off to the right goes back down. It looks like essentially that middle area was a building that the ceiling compressed down and it just shattered the building. You're now in that silt again, and off to the right you can see that there's parts of the building that have collapsed down into that passageway, but you're pretty sure it just empties back out to that same larger passage you were in. To the north, you can see this building that is kind of in crumbles, like there's bits of it laying around. The northern side of that passage probably crushed it, and that's what all of these pieces are. But the silt goes through the building, and then off to the right more. You're not sure if that is a street, like was once a street, or if it was if the tunnel itself is something else made it.
Guess go investigate that building.
Sure. Is everybody going to follow essentially at the distance they are?
Yep.
Okay.
Also try and be quiet.
Okay. Brock, if you want to go ahead and make a stealth, go for it. And I'm just going to snag everybody and move them together. Wah.
I rolled an 8. I do have a +5 to stealth, but, well...
Right? It doesn't matter when the dice don't like you. That's on the Monday game. I'm playing a rogue who is super stealthy and super like roguey, and she sucks so bad because the dice hate her. But anyway, so Decim, you get into here, and go ahead and make me another perception check or investigation if you're looking around, whichever you prefer.
I like investigating. I'll investigate. Did that send?
I haven't seen it yet, but that doesn't mean it didn't send.
Try again. Click.
Clickety click.
Click, 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 click.
I'm gonna try it. Oh, there it goes. All right, so you get in there, and you're looking around. It looks like if there was anything in this building at one time, it's been long since removed. You do get that scent that came from the creatures that attacked you just a little bit ago, but it's very faint.
As if they had maybe passed through here, or
that would be your guess.
He will continue his scurrying.
Okay.
And then just kind of outside of the light, or the edge of the light, kind of wave them forward.
Okay. So you're gonna head off down the left side.
Yeah, go out. Well, let's see here. Yeah, let's go left.
Okay. Just gonna
Sounds
snag everybody.
like a reasonable direction to go.
And everyone notices that Borla is just like she's a dwarf, so she's already short, but like she just kind of stays low. And hearing her, you haven't even heard her move. You notice her because she's in your light, but she seems just super quiet. All right, so Decim, you get to there. I need to zoom out so I can see where you're at. Okay. Make a perception check.
Super perceptive. Perceptive. Is that print?
Not yet, but it'll probably come through. While I'm waiting for it, Brakaw and Doran, go ahead and make intelligence checks. I'm going to do one for Freed as well.
Where'd my character sheet go? So that's a 17 for me.
Okay. So Freed and Doran both at the same time kind of stop and, like, even though you're like playing softly, Doran, you realize you don't hear those voices, like those echoing voices that had been going on when you first walked into that intersection where those creatures were. And Freed also says, I don't hear that sound anymore. Does anyone else? Brakaw, once they point it out, you don't hear it? What do you all do?
I mean, that's totally normal. They're probably listening to my music. So I'm just going to keep on going.
Okay. So, Decim, you see off to the left, there is a tunnel. It is, the silt here is pretty thick. Like your toes. Are you wearing your boots? Your special boots? Like the ones that are made for your feet? Or are you barefoot?
I think I'm barefoot because I don't think I've bought shoes yet.
When you started, you had those boots. They're in your character art that like have for your digitigrade feet. But I'm assuming that you don't always wear them because why would you? They're uncomfortable. They're boots on your weird feet.
Yeah, why would you do that?
So you notice that like your toes definitely like sink in more as you are progressing. This area off to the left, it even seems like the silt is still wet. Off to the right, you can see bits of crumbled building, but it's so badly damaged that you can't even tell where the building was. It's just like there's just bricks and chunks of rock strewn about.
Probably safer to stay in the more stable parts of this tunnel complex ruins. It's gonna go to check out this ruin.
Okay. Borla's gonna sneak up over here. And I'll just snag all of you. One. So the light doesn't quite reach Decim, even though he's in the auras right now, as this wall here is like dinking with the light. But Decim, you start scrambling through there. You do notice that smell is still lingering, but you don't find anything. This definitely was abandoned a long time ago, and it doesn't seem like anything of value would be kept here. But
It smells like
make
stronger,
a survival check.
Survival, his favorite skill.
Nice.
Did it print?
Yep. So as you're getting through here, there's like, you see the silt that's kind of like between the bricks and such. As you are going through and looking around, you notice a footprint that looks like it's been like partially covered up, And once you see it, you realize that there haven't been any footprints so far, but it would be pretty easy to just like mush the silt back over footprints as somebody went, and it looks like somebody tried to do that and missed one.
What direction is it headed?
In the direction you are going, so that north direction.
What's the size of the footprint? Can I get a general idea of like the size of the?
It looks like a humanoid boot.
Desmond will point this out to the group.
Borla's going to walk up with you and check it out. What's everyone else doing back here?
As far as I'm concerned, it's just a boot. Boots are everywhere.
But should there be anyone else down here? I'd like to see if I can go up there, if possible.
Sure.
And I'm sure Desmond's already done a really good job just finding the boot print, but can we get any sense of roughly how long ago it would have been made?
Yeah, that's a good question. Go ahead and do a survival, and do it at advantage with Decim's success earlier. So 17. It actually looks fairly recent.
So, if it's probably within, say, the last day or two, fairly recent, like, they could still be down here. They clearly haven't been food for whatever monsters are down here.
In fact, I'll give you this extra bit of information with your roll. It is recent, and the cover-up of it is even more recent. So, like, the footprint itself seems maybe a few hours older than the cover-up does.
They don't... Oh, okay, that I'm going to share with the party. I think we might have some rivals for the Falcon.
Okay. So what do you do? Everyone, don't speak up at the same time.
I mean, I'm still just playing my song. I mean, nothing else to do, really. It's just a boot.
Right? So
it's not just the boots.
It's a boot print.
Yeah.
There are people who are covering their tracks. They
With
may
boot?
lie in wait and ambush for us.
Freed looks a little nervous as he comes up and he's looking around. Is it getting hot down here? I feel like it's getting hotter down here.
I mean, you got close to me again, but other than that, I think it's just you.
Okay, I'm going to take your word for this.
Do I notice anything?
As far as the heat difference?
Yeah.
No, not really.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Like, it's a little muggy down here, but it's like there's obviously some moisture from whatever water flow is making the silt wet that kind of lingers and becomes like a humidity. But it's not, you're not uncomfortable. This is pretty chill compared to like the desert you grew up in, or even most days topside in Shelzar.
Yeah, so let's keep going.
Okay.
And
scurry ahead.
Yeah, let's scurry ahead.
Okay. So Borla's moving with you there, Decim. You notice she moves pretty silently. About as silently as you. And do you want to stay ahead of the light, Decim?
Yeah, he wants to stay out of the light so that he has a better range with his dark vision.
All right, so when you get to there, your dark vision, let me double check here. Yeah. about 50 feet away from you, you can see this area that is obviously of construction. It's similar to the buildings you've seen before, but it looks like the opening or the beginning of like a walled square, like a trader square or something like that that's inside of a city, but it has a wall around it, and that's weird. Part of the wall is crumbled, and there's definitely pieces of like pillars and such that are laying around. And there is this thing right here, if you can see where I'm clicking, is actually a building that has silt just like on its roof. It's like got huge like almost like the silt was pouring off, so it's mostly buried by the silt. And then you can see a glow from torches and stuff. Not super bright ones, but if you go up, or if you move your map around, that large room that's up to the upper left, this is actually lit by torches. The area you're in is in darkness, and the torchlight ends about here, if you can see that. So you have this like section of darkness that's probably about 70 feet.
So it's lit partially, and then as it gets further back, it's not lit?
So this area that from Decim to about 80 feet from him is in darkness.
Yeah, oh, okay. I was like, wait, what? Why is it lit in front of us and then not behind?
Right.
I misunderstood. Okay.
Yeah, so the torchlight isn't reaching you. There's this like 80-foot section that's in darkness, but then the torchlight illuminates what looks like this tiered area. Decim, you're not really sure what it is. Brakaw, I feel like you might have seen, because you would be able to see it, even though you can't see it through the darkness. You can see the lit area on the other side, and it reminds you kind of a temple or something. And Doran, you get the same feeling.
Is it lit exteriorly, like on the outside of the building, or is it lit?
Correct. Yeah, you see these like torches that are held up by like sconces. That are just kind of like haphazardly placed around. It doesn't seem like they're even like put there as part of the design, but more of they've been placed there recently to light that area.
I'm gonna come over here, kind of position myself behind that fallen pillar.
When you head that direction, I feel like he's a little difficult to see, but I'm going to show him. And I need to find my other guy. Where is he? Hold, please.
And would we have been able to move up a little more? I don't think.
Yeah, go ahead and keep moving yourself. Just keep Decim at the edge of your light as far as what he's trying to do.
Oh, I know what he's trying to do, and I'm not carrying a light source either. So I don't necessarily want to let him outside of the edge of my dark vision when I know that there's some other light out there.
Yeah, because you can do 30 feet, right, for dark vision?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. I don't know where my other guy went. But Decim, you notice if you scroll up, kind of near the top is an orc. Do you see the orc right here?
Down by the stairs?
Yeah, he's at the top of these stairs on the second from top tier where I'm pinging.
I see him. Yeah.
He is talking to one of those creatures that you killed in the other room, which I guess I deleted that guy, so hang on one sec. I'm going to throw him back over here. Pew. You can't hear his voice. It's either very quiet or there's something blocking it. And Brakaw, you would also notice that. Borilla's going to come up here with you. Actually, she's going to get behind this wall. Freed. Alright, Freed's going to put his torch out. Or his lantern. He's going to like pull the hood down on his lantern. And kind of stumble forward. That didn't work.
I'm trying to move my character too, and I can't click it. I'm
Right.
so zoomed out. It's like hard to click.
All right, let's see it. Okay, his light is gone. Are you going to leave your torch lit, Doran?
No one's telling me to put it out.
I feel like Freed was moving along with you. He'll be like, let's put our lights out.
I'll just drop it then.
Okay.
I'm not gonna like snuff it out. I'm just gonna drop it and hope it goes out. If that makes sense.
It's actually kind of hisses when it hits the ground. That
Nice.
silt area is a little wet, and so it does end up guttering out.
Yeah.
fairly
The
quickly.
main reason was I didn't want to take the effort to do so while still playing my music.
I mean,
So-
it would be like you're kind of holding it in one hand, like
right. So
trying
it's
to
already like
finger
a
your
whole
loot.
thing that I'm
Right.
doing. Yeah. So that was the whole reason. It wasn't like, oh, well, he's being an asshole. It's more of I didn't want to take the time to free up my hands because everybody loves my music so far. So
So, Freed will also say, we should probably be quiet.
I'll just strum it quieter, like I did before.
And he says that as he's walking off, so he doesn't like wait for you to stop, and he gets up to here.
That's a 12 on my stealth roll, I think.
Okay.
so I'm strumming as quietly as a 12 is.
And
I'm really just waiting for someone to grab it.
everybody notices, Brakaw, you're the closest to him if you want to like try and get him to quiet down.
So I just turn around, glare, and reach for the instruments.
Okay.
I will pull it back.
You play louder.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like that's what I was gonna say. As I pull it back, like I look like upset that you're trying to take my loot from me. I don't understand why you would want it. You didn't say anything, so. And I'll just, when you do that, I'll hold the loot up like that to like simulate the finger, and still keep playing. I totally have no idea what you're trying to tell me.
So
So
while that's going on, the
I walk
Decim, oh, go ahead.
right up to Doran, lean over into his ear. If you want to keep playing music, you'll have lots of time to do it later. But stop for now.
Good nut song?
Song Don't Want to Die. Right?
Danger?
Yes. Danger. Your song right now brings danger.
Danger nut song.
And Decim,
Yes.
while they're having this conversation,
No song. No song for danger.
you definitely noticed the orc, like he stood up from talking to the creature and looked towards your direction. Not you specifically, but like toward that tunnel. You're not really, because you're not close enough to really see what he's doing. You just see his face facing that direction.
He's gonna kind of like back roll over here, dun dun, next to Freed.
Okay.
Kind of press up against that back wall,
Okay.
and then flashes his paws at the rest of the party and points at his ears, and then points like up and over the wall.
Oh, you're pointing over the wall?
Yeah, he points at his ears, and then he's kind of crouching behind the wall. Points like as if gesturing like up and over the wall.
Okay, so I'll shake my head and I'll start playing loudly again and start walking towards where you pointed.
I can't hear you. Play louder.
That's obviously what you meant. I am not. Doran's not good with the sign language. Everything is very literal.
And Brakaw, like, he stops playing, and you turn to look the other way, and then there's just this like twang as he starts playing, and it's just like nerve wracking. And the orc says, "Gentlemen, we have visitors."
Oh, I'm so sorry.
What language does he say that in?
Shelzar.
So to the rest of the group for a translation.
I turn to Doran and say, "That's your fault."
That is your fault.
I just shake my head and say tree.
And then,
And you do notice that this robed figure on the top tier walks out from behind this building that's on the top, and like looks at the orc, and you can hear like them talking, but you're not close enough to hear their words.
So I'll call out to the orc and say, friend, you know that thing that you've got right next to you is murderous, right?"
He actually laughs. It's this like deep booming laugh, and he says, "No, they're harmless. They are my pets. I understand that I am now short 3 pets because of you."
Well, I'll switch over to Orcish because I think it's better that way. Good pet owners teach their pets not to kill random strangers.
But they are guard pets, and if you did not tell them the word that they asked for, they were instructed to attack you.
Well, if you want to keep the rest of your pets, I think we can come out to some sort of deal.
He doesn't respond, and you can't really see him clearly enough to see his reaction. But he does walk down the steps that you saw him at, and so he actually moved to an area you can't see him because of the risers, essentially. But you get the feeling he's walking towards you.
All right, so I tell the rest of the party that, you know those creatures we fought? They're his pets. He likes them as guards. And he may have murderous intent.
And Decim, that totally clicks with those crystals being control crystals for the creatures.
Decim whispers over to Brakaw, and he says, "His pets are dead."
Oh, he knows. And I told him that he should give us the command word if he doesn't want the rest of his pets to end up dead.
And Brakaw, from where you're standing, you can see him hop over this like fallen pillar, and he walks over to here, and he's looking down. Let me see. He's looking in your direction, but you can't tell if he's looking at you. He says, "Why don't you come into the light?"
Okay. So I start walking. I walked forward before, but I assumed I was like here-ish, so I'm like at the stairs now, still play.
Yeah, you're actually just entering the light right where you are.
Yeah.
So as you get to the top of those stairs there, you can see him pretty clearly. He's a pretty bulky, muscular orc, and he has his hair up in a top knot. You notice this tattoo on his right arm that looks like fire. It's surprisingly realistic, if that makes sense. Like, it kind of glimmers, and you also notice that the tattoo in the middle of his forehead, which looks like an eye with like beams coming out of it, like some kind of energy, also has that kind of shimmer, almost like it's actual fire.
Out of character. I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice knowing you guys.
Hey, out of character. I tried intimidating him, so that's part of why I am stepping up. Because if anyone deserves this, it's me.
Yeah.
But do I recognize those symbols?
You could do me a religion or history check at advantage for you. Yeah, so the image on his forehead is a known symbol for Thulkas, the fire titan. And as you step into the light, a big grin like breaks his face, and he says, "Ah, a son of Thulkas, excellent." And he's obviously looking at you now. You could do an insight check. You were pretty sure he's attributing you to be a Sutak. Mm-hmm. And he also seems very happy that you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That might be a problem.
Yeah, this is.
I know anything about Ironbread. That's a big bad assumption to make.
So while Doran and Brakaw are doing that, around the corner, Borla all of a sudden like pushes herself up against the stone and looks over at Freed and Decim, and she says, "That's Usa. He is bad news." We
Decim nods something.
We do not want to make him angry. We need to and she kind of glances over at Brakaw and Doran. Well, we can't leave without him knowing. So she definitely seems nervous all of a sudden, and she hasn't through all of this. Even like when the creatures were attacking, she seemed pretty chill about all of it.
Perfect.
So Freed kind of like tippy toes and looks over the top. He doesn't have lava, does he? Decim, what are you doing?
Do you think I can make it to this spot here?
You would have to do a stealth check. You can definitely make it to that spot, but if you're trying to do so unseen, which is my assumption.
Yes. Trying to get to a better vantage point to provide cover fire in case it needs to be done. Stealth.
Nice. So even though Brakaw and Doran, you don't know that Decim is sneaking away, you never see the orc's eyes leave you. He's looking at you specifically, and Decim, you don't feel like he saw you. And in fact, that pillar that's in between you probably helped a lot.
Okay, good.
While everyone is chatting over here, this guy walks out of that building that's up on top, and he's just kind of watching. The little critter has come and joined this guy, and another robe figure has walked around the corner and is also watching. Okay. So, Brakaw and Doran. The orc is like, any son of Thulkas is welcome here. Perhaps you will lend me a hand. And he like gestures for you to join him up on the raised area.
In Orcish, what is it that you desire here?
We are seeking a long lost place of our father.
What is this place you speak of?
It is a place of fire and Thulkas's blood.
Why would you, of all people, seek Thulkas's blood?
I've been sent by Thulkas to find it.
So switching over to Sutak, so he speaks to you.
He has spoken to me in the desert.
Interesting.
You could do me a history check, because you've been in Shelzar for like a year, just over a year, right?
Yeah, a little over a year, probably closer to a year and a half now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, go ahead and do a history check. You might have heard of. Yeah, as he's talking, you've heard about this guy. Rumors that are about him are like he's an orc or he's a Sutak or like it. You're not really sure who. Like the rumors are conflicting, but you've definitely heard rumors of this guy who came walking in out of the desert one day, mumbling about being given visions by Thulkas and like how he's come to Shelzar to raise the Empire of Flame again, and he's been around for at least a couple of years. But you've never he doesn't like stand out on the corner. The end is coming. The end is coming. You know, like his whatever he's doing, you haven't seen personally. You just have heard these rumors, and you're pretty sure this is that guy.
Yeah, so he's a man with a plan.
Yeah, and he also seems, as he's talking to you, he's very zealous.
Yeah.
Like, he is maybe Thulkas' #1 fan these days. He might be wearing a t-shirt. It's like, Thulkas #1.
Do I recognize the name Thulkas?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Titans fell 150 years ago, so it's not like ancient history. These names are still often used, and like this area, especially like the desert just northwest of Shelzar, was once like Thulkas's domain on the planet, so would not be a weird name for you to hear now.
Do I ever recall the hag ever using that name in a positive or negative way?
I would say the hag probably didn't really talk about Thulkas. Not really her. She was all about Mormo.
Yeah.
And like the powers that she drew from being a follower.
Seem like, typically people who worship or follow these entities are pretty like single track.
You've noticed with gods, it's a little more
polytheistic.
Thank you. I'm like polyamorous. No, that is not right.
No, that's different.
Right? With the Titans, yeah, like followers were a lot more specific. Like they attribute things to other Titans, but if they were worshiping one, it was either because they were created by that Titan or they chose that Titan's like role in the world to follow. Whereas with the gods, it's much more polytheistic. They're like, oh, we want it to rain, so we want Lithine to send rain, or we want Monowi to bless the ship, so we don't like sail into a kraken, that kind of thing.
Okay. Gonna stay in my hiding place.
Okay. Let's see. Borla is going to move over to you. But I need to see how sneaky she is. Okay. Decim, you're watching up here to see if the orc shows up, and you're kind of keeping an eye on the guys that are up on top. And all of a sudden, Borla, like, is to the other side of you. Very strange. And she's like, Freed is not doing well. He's, I think he's sweating or crying. I don't know which. I can't get him to move.
Decim nods solemnly. Mutters something in Slytherin.
What do you say in Slytherin?
It's a nursery rhyme, just kind of the catchphrase of a nursery rhyme that deals with the fear in the crocodile.
Fear is the mind killer.
Yeah, fear is the killer. Yeah.
She finishes it for you in Slytherin.
He is like stunned and gets really excited and nods and then points at Freed and then whispers,
He whispers what?
The crocodile. And then kind of points over the wall over at the orc.
She makes this like hand gesture that you and like says the Slytherin word for fire, and is like, I think he thinks this from that guy. Meanwhile, Doran and Brakaw. What do you do?
I mean, I'm just walking closer.
Okay.
Playing my song. Because when he put out his hand, I wanted to reach out and grab it. So if it's still gestured out during all this, I'm like walking up and like, sup? You know,
Yeah. It looks like he gestured
hand.
off to your left. You can see a staircase way over here. It looks like he gestured that way when he said, come on up.
Perfect. I'm on the way.
So, Brakaw, obviously Doran thinks this guy's completely trustworthy. What are you doing?
Thanks.
So,
Right.
I'm going to say, Ian Shelzar, there's no fixing this. And then Brakaw turns his back and starts walking away.
Okay. Where do you walk to?
Back the way we came.
All right. Go ahead and move yourself there. Doran, you can't really see him. Okay.
I mean, my back would be to him anyway, so right?
Yeah, because like that pillar's there. He's up a little higher, and you're walking away.
Yeah, Brakaw just said very loudly, hoping that everyone could hear, there's no fixing this, and turned away in disgust.
Okay. I will say, Doran, you do hear a low rumble, almost like a growl that comes from, up on top of that ledge.
I think worse than the things we killed in the other room.
Right. Freed is not here. So, Decim, you see Brakaw leave the light, and I think he's too far away for your dark vision. Let me double check. Like, he walks through the very edge of your dark vision as he heads back down the way you came.
Oh, he's leaving?
Yeah.
But Doran is moving in?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Are you having fun with Doran yet?
Decim is torn because like he's clearly not trained his progeny well enough. Maybe he's not done the right formula for it. He's not really sure exactly how that works. He does know that he can't let him just be eaten like that in the swamp. And he's gonna go and intercept Doran.
Okay.
Ramble over there.
Yeah, as far as I like lackadaisical, like playing a song. Like I've no inclination or awareness of what is the degradation of the situation has happened. So
so you start heading off towards the steps. You do notice, so you hear the rumble, and then you kind of see the top of the orc's head as he walks back this, like he takes a few steps back, and then steps out of your line of vision again because of the angle. Decim, you can see he turned and is walking back this direction.
Okay.
Make me a perception check.
Perceiving.
Okay. So you see Doran heading towards that stair, and then Usa kind of like clambers over that fallen thing and disappears from your line of sight. You do notice just before you scramble out that Freed is running after Brakaw.
Well, at least the alligator won't get him this time.
Crocodile.
Mutters another nursery rhyme in Slytherin about never sacrificing oneself. And here he is breaking those rules.
Right. So where are you going to move yourself to? If you want to go ahead and scurry that direction.
Is this up? Is it an upward or is it down? Like, is it a jump down?
So there's drop down there, yeah.
Yeah, so how far down?
About 5 feet.
Okay, yeah, so he'll here to intercept.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like this, once you get down there, there's water. It reminds you a lot of those, like, strange, like, streets that seem like they might have been waterways back in the day. And same with the stairwells, they seem to. This lower level may have also been one of those, and there is some standing water in there. So Doran, he runs out in front of you. Were you doing so stealthily or not?
To me? Yes, always.
Okay, go ahead and roll that.
Stealth.
Yes, please. Okay. All right. Well, it's going to just move up and keep an eye on you. So, yeah, Doran, Decim runs out in front of you. Decim, what do you say?
What was that?
What do you say to your progeny?
Oh, I grab you by the hand.
I 100% resist that because I'm playing the lute.
Oh, he places his hands on the strings of the lute.
100% resist that because I'm playing the lute.
And says, "You have to come with me now."
No danger song.
He looks pretty panicked at this stage. And says, "Come quietly, come." And scurry back to the wall and attempt to climb it.
Okay. Yeah, so the area that you're at, if you're going to try and climb like here.
Yeah.
Just an athletics check.
Super good at that.
It's a super easy climb, so you shouldn't have any issues. Oh yeah, super easy. You pop yourself back up. So Doran, yeah, you could tell he was obviously like frazzled over something. He said, you got to get away, and then ran off and jumped over there. Are you heading back for this wall, Decim, or this way?
He's going to kind of hover where he's at now.
Okay.
To watch Doran.
As you pull yourself up, you notice that Borla has like moved herself over here, and she's watching you. But Brakaw, are you continuing to walk off?
I think Brakaw would have moved a bit and then started walking much more slowly.
Okay.
Try to do a combination of, well, maybe stealth, but mainly just listen to see if the other people in the party are following.
Sure.
/ being attacked.
Yeah, so you would have heard the like the twang of the lute like being pushed while Doran was playing it, and then you heard Decim say something. Probably couldn't hear it clearly enough, and then maybe a couple like rocks dropping as he climbed back up on that wall. But you wouldn't have like heard. You don't hear anyone following you besides Freed. And you can see Freed. And Freed's actually holding on to you, and he looks just absolutely nauseous right now.
Freed, I'll keep you safe.
And his eyes are doing that like really wide open thing as he's trying to see in the dark down the direction you're heading, but he doesn't want to like open his lantern back up. So would you say you've gone like maybe 3 more squares?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, we'll just go. We'll just put you there. All right. So Doran, what are you doing?
As far as I know, everybody keeps trying to take my loot because they think the loot is dangerous.
Right.
So, and it's not dangerous. So, as far as I know, I'm still invited to the party up on the next floor.
I mean, that guy didn't say stop.
Yeah, so I'm still going.
Okay.
So I guess I moved that the 30.
So you'll get over there. All right.
Question is, does a Hollow Legionnaire burn?
I think you do take fire damage if you were exposed to it.
I'm just saying, like, can I be turned to ashes or?
Right. Yeah, there's some spell effects that I'm just like, how does that work? I mean, really, it just turns your armor to that instead of you. Like, disintegrate would disintegrate your armor, thereby killing you.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does the ectoplasm that makes up my spirit form burn?
Right. This smells really horrid.
Yeah, it just smells bad. Perfect.
So, Decim, Doran heads over to those steps and starts walking up. What are you gonna do?
At the dwarf.
I'm sorry, what was that? You cut out. All I heard was the dwarf.
Hey, he looks over at the dwarf, looking for kind of sign or signal.
Like she kind of glances by you at Doran and shrugs, and then she glances back and she can still see Freed and Brakaw, and she's gonna gesture like to that way and then shrug again.
I'm gonna, I guess, stand here like a fearful parent watching their kid get onto the plane before they fly off to college.
As you're standing
Something
there,
like that.
you do notice this guy that's at the top. Do you see him?
Yeah.
He's watching Doran and you. Like, you're definitely not hidden from him. And you notice, we'll say you notice that the one of those creatures comes out and stands next to him, and it's just kind of like standing there, and its mouth is doing that like weird, kind of like chewing nothing. What do you do?
Gonna stand by and watch and see if I need to provide cover fire.
Okay. So Doran, you keep going up?
Yep.
All right. So by the time you get to here, like you had seen the orc walk off to the north, and it looks like he's walking back, and he has one of those creatures with him, and you can see another one moving up behind him. And he sees you, and he doesn't look as happy as when he saw Brakaw.
Not to be dissuaded, I'll wave.
Okay.
In between, like, strums. Like,
where did your... I'm going to assume he's an iron-bred friend go.
As far, like, I probably don't know that he's called an iron-bred, right? Like, he's just Brakaw to me.
That's totally fair.
So, I'm just like... Bred Iron Man? Go?
He tilts his head and he looks back the other direction for some reason, and then he begins like hopping over this, and this creature moves up with him. This one's following. Decim.
Decim is getting a little bit more nervous. Pulls a vial from his bag just in case.
Okay. You could definitely see as the orc jumps over, he's now in your view. And if he's in your view and you're standing up there, you're pretty sure you're in his view as well.
Watch him intently. Does he seem like he's approaching aggressively?
He's just kind of walking. He is a very large, kind of aggressive looking guy to begin with, so that hasn't changed. But he's not like running towards Doran with like a spear or something like that. Doran, you do notice he has a warhammer that's hanging from his belt, but he doesn't have it in his hands.
Well, I'm trying to make a good first impression. Does he seem to like the music?
He hasn't really said, and you can't tell from his facial expressions what he thinks about it.
So, with that, maybe since everybody else wants to take the lyre, I'll ask him as much as I can ask a question. Danger lyre? Song bad good?
What did you call me?
And while I'm doing that, I'm like holding it out to him. Like if he wants it.
And he like, shakes his head and holds his hand up. He's like, no, I've never been gifted with music.
Better something. I turn and I hold up a finger when I say better something, like for him to wait. And I go behind the pillar.
Okay.
And I'm going to use my disguise kit to become him.
So I don't know if you could do that with the disguise kit. Like, you could get a close approximation by essentially doing green face.
Right. I'm going to try as best as I can.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I can cast disguise self on myself, too.
Right. So the spell would give you a better chance of actually looking like them.
All right, I got a spell slot. Disguise self it is.
Let me verify my understanding of disguise self, so I'm not telling you the wrong thing here.
Yeah, it says you make yourself, including your clothing, armor, weapons, and others belonging on your person, look different until the spell ends or until you see or use your action to dismiss it.
Right.
You can appear a foot shorter, taller, appear fat, thin, or in between. You can't change your body type, so you must adopt a form that has the same basic arrangement of limbs.
Yeah.
So I should be able to be an orc.
So really you can't really see it, but Decim, you see him turn into essentially like a green Hollow Legionnaire. Like, that looks like an orc. Because I don't think you can, with Disguise Self, I don't know if you can make your skin become not translucent. Again, more questions about the Hollow Legionnaire. What
Hollow
happens?
Legionnaire, yeah.
But it is surprisingly orcish looking, and you change your clothing and everything too. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, he looks like a kind of a ghostly version of the orc.
Decim is shocked.
So while this is all going on, Brakaw, what are you doing?
Sighing loudly because I thought that I was going to provoke some sort of more immediate and drastic response that would make it clear to the rest of the party how evil this person who we're dealing with is. And Brakaw has not gotten satisfaction, so he's confused.
That is
plan A
completely
didn't
great.
work, and he didn't have a plan B. So he's I don't think turning around lets me save face. So
yeah, if anything, Freed is
away.
like kind of pushing you in the direction you were going. He's just like, "Yep, we're going this way. Come on."
So I'm gonna act like I'm resisting, and that's why I'm slowly walking forward.
Okay.
That plan failed. It happens.
So we'll get you guys down to there. Decim, what are you doing?
He's running calculations in his head as to how he could have, like, created like another spawn, and if this is like the new evolution of the spawn.
Yeah, he definitely glows a little bit like Strigic did.
It's very unnerving, and he's going to start kind of poking at himself, wincing, of course, because he's pretty badly wounded still. Try and figure out like how this is all like happening when he himself can't necessarily do that.
Right, but you can squeeze.
Squeeze, which is the first level of mastery. He's gonna stand there, fighting the unhinging of his jaw into that possum-like
Ah. Okay. So Doran, what do you do after you change your shape?
I pop back out in front of him, and I go, "Me, you can play liar now. Fun time." And I start playing it again, but like I'm trying to let him live vicariously through me.
Right.
That now he can play the instrument.
So go ahead and do a performance check.
Alright, this is +4.
9.
9.
So
That's
you come
about
out
on par for the course.
and you start playing. Decim, you can hear it. It's you might call it music.
I mean, that's about what he's been doing the whole time anyway.
Yeah,
so really,
it's pretty on par. And like, Usa looks at him for a long moment and then just starts laughing, like bend over, gut wrenching laughter.
Brent's bowing now. It's
Right?
a great performance.
And you can hear him say this. I don't know if you understand him. He says in Shelzari, and he says, essentially, that's still better than what I could play. But it like comes out.
I only speak Common and Abyssal. I think we said that even though I had been here, I didn't speak Shelzari.
Well, so there isn't a common language. There are only regional languages.
Right. So it's all dependent on how you want to throw it. Because Abyssal's the only one that I know really.
So, like, it would be very difficult for you to come to Shelzar and and be able to like survive without speaking a language spoken. So we'll go with you speak Shelzari as your common. We'll talk
I'm
about
super
that.
proud of myself.
Yeah.
And I'll just while he's laughing and I'm like bowing and I hear that, I'll stop and go, cheat you, time need.
Still laughing, he like waves his hand. He's like, I don't have time for this. I must find what I'm looking for. Would you like to help me?
I just nod, yeah.
Excellent.
I just want to help.
And like Usa turns his face so it's obvious. He doesn't like glance over, but he turns and faces towards Decim and just like stares at you.
Yeah, he just goes full possum on his jaw.
Quieter.
I'll say to what's this guy's name?
You actually haven't heard his name because you were not with. Yeah.
Well, I'll notice that he's basically death glaring Decim, right?
He's just kind of staring at him like it doesn't look quite like a death glare, but his face is kind of in a constant death glare. So
resting death glare face.
Right. And so
Very
after
common.
a moment he turns and he looks back at you and he says, "Is this also one of your friends?"
Teach how to squeeze.
He doesn't say anything. He just like gets this look of consternation on his face.
Well, when I said it, I would be shaking my head. Like, yeah, that's a friend.
Are you coming to help me? He asks Decim.
In what language?
He'll say it in Shelzari.
Yeah, Decim doesn't understand Shelzari.
What languages do you speak? Because you've been speaking to Shelzari people.
Oh, Lydian. He speaks
Oh,
Lydian.
that's right. Okay. Yeah, so you don't understand what he's saying. But he definitely said something to you.
He doesn't want to give up the location of his backup. So he damn it, is gonna is gonna hop down. Still really stiff.
Yeah. Does he still have his face like, ah?
Yeah. Still like he's fighting against his natural impulse, which would be to run and hide and leave his cousins to be eaten by the crocodiles. But no. This one here, this one's special. You can't let this one get eaten by that orc.
Okay.
He's gonna kind of force himself to approach.
Are you going to head up those stairs?
Yeah, very slowly. It's like he's like consciously having to move his feet.
Right. So Doran, you step back out so he can see you, right? So you'd be there. He doesn't move, but the creature that's with him kind of like scurries over here and is watching Decim as Decim moves. So Decim, slowly meanders over here and is watching, and the creature kind of like is like not rocking, but kind of like looks every so often like it wants to like run forward, and then it stops and looks back at the orc, and then kind of like crouches down and watches.
I'm super excited Decim's coming.
Right.
I'm like, yeah.
So Brakaw, you heard that noise that Decim makes when he does his like possum face. It's like this weird hissing, like, and you can kind of hear like talking going on. What do you do?
Stop moving, and I think I know how far a orc's dark vision is.
Yeah.
So I'm going to reverse course and start stealthing back.
as soon as you like stop and like start heading back, like Freed grabs you and it's all like, "No, we were going this way. Remember?"
There's a thing called "Don't Split the Party."
Well, they'll catch up. It'll be fine because there's not lava this way.
Yeah, yes, but they're not retreating like I was hoping they would.
But they will. They'll catch up with us. It'll be fine. That guy scares me. He's got like fire on him or something.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if they're going to be fine on their own either.
Come on, Brakaw, let's go this way. Decim always gets out of things. He'll be fine. He can squeeze.
Yeah, I'm not sure he can squeeze out of this one, so I'm turning around and selfing.
And as you head back that way, like he definitely like in your dark vision, you can see him, and he's like holding his lantern, and he's like looking around, but you know he can't see in the dark, and so he's just kind of like standing there as you walk away. Where do you go?
I'm not going that far.
But... Okay, yeah. Where do you go to? Go ahead and move yourself there. Okay.
I think there, maybe.
Yeah, so the edge of the light is essentially right about here. Like the square itself and the building is mostly lit up. And you're pretty sure all of that area from where he's at, anywhere in the darkness that you are right now, he shouldn't be able to see you.
Yeah, so I'm going to go to about here, and I am trying to stealth.
Okay, go ahead and roll. So
I'm just too angry.
Well, even though you're kind of angry and you're like kind of stomping a little bit, the silt that you're moving on is squishing your is making the noise very quiet. So I actually gave you advantage on that one, so you got the 18 instead of the 8. So yeah, you managed to get yourself up there. Borla glances back at you, but it's like you notice that her eyes search before they like find you. So it's not that she heard you, but was probably just like looking back to see what was going on. Decim, what are you doing?
Gonna close the gap.
Okay.
Put the door in. Kind of put himself slightly in front of Doran.
Okay. Yeah, as you walk by that creature, like it like leans forward like it wants to run at you, but then stops, and you notice like a very faint like pulse in that crystal that's in its chest. The orc is looking at you. You can do a insight check, actually.
Insight.
Nice. So most of the time, like when you've like gone scrounging for food before you found the family that you live, like your friends and that you live in now, when you've had like scrounge for food, there are a lot of times where like people will come out and like kick at you like they do at rats or whatever. You get the feeling he really just wants to like kick at you, or he just has nothing but disdain for you for some reason.
He holds up a digit on his paw, clears his throat. Lydian, he starts out with, hello there, friend. It looks like you have come a long way and look very tired. I'm going to interest you in pick-me-up.
Okay. He does not respond.
Have you felt tired and bedraggled and not able to do a single thing about that mole on your neck? Has your hair not been as luscious as it used to be? I'll tell you this, friend. I have just the solution. All of your ailments and woes will be lifted off of your spirit, you'll feel like a young man again. Why, look at this one over here. He took the tonic 3 days ago, and behold, he is now the father of 15 children.
So while he's going on, the orc looks at you, Doran, and says, "What is your creature saying?"
Work merrier, all the friends, if we work the thee.
He looks a little irritated. And this guy hops up there.
Is he irritated because he doesn't understand me, or because he doesn't understand?
It's probably a. Go ahead and do an insight. Actually, we'll see how much you're gleaning from his scowl. Oh, I mean, he just has he has resting grump face, so everything is fine.
I mean, if there's a roll to fail, that's probably the one.
Right?
So far.
Like he does look irritated, but like he's kind of like his face doesn't really have a happy. Even when he laughed, he still was like scowling. So
Gotcha.
you can't really tell the difference.
With that, I'm gonna go to. See, and this is why I need to ban assholes in your chat. Anyway, but I'll go to like insinuate that I need to go work because that's what he needs help. So, help, am I? And I'll keep playing, and I'll just go to walk over towards this direction, I guess, to the way that he came from, and like beckoning for them to come. Like, let's go work. Got work to do.
Okay. So Brakaw, you can see Decim up here, like holding a potion out, and you know what this looks like. It's Decim's sales pitch. He's obviously trying to sell, even though you can't quite make out what he's saying. He is trying to sell this guy, this orc, whatever is in that bottle. What do you do?
Be very thankful that no one can see the combination of, when it seems like things are going to be going so horribly wrong that you just break down in laughter. Brakaw started doing that, then realized some of the teachings from the temple or from the monastery, and he held it in. And he's just waiting at this point to see what happens next.
Gotcha.
Staying vigilant, taking a defensive pose.
Brakaw, you notice that Borla moves up here because she can't really see what's going on. She like peeks around the corner and looks back at you, and she raises her hands like, "What do we do?" And with that, we will call it for this week's adventure.
I'm so sorry.
See,
sorry.
I thought that he was going to command someone to stab me in the back, and then that we'd have an easy resolution.
Right.
Orin just wants everybody to be friends.
I guess we'll see how that all turns out next week. So, let's do our outros. Brakaw, why don't you start off?
All right. I'm Noah Grand, and you can find me at Noah Grand on Twitter. I write and edit things for DM's Guild.
Nice. Anything recently?
I was editor for the latest zine of Eat the Rich, which came out a week ago.
Nice.
So if you want, among other things, an adventure with some very angry forest creatures who are upset about the environment, and there may be a lot of fire involved, there's a really fun one in there.
Oh, well, Usa will absolutely be up that. He's like, fire? Yeah, take me there.
Yeah.
Free?
I mean,
not so much.
it'd be great. It'd be great if we sent Usa there as a character to go play it.
Right?
That would solve our problems right away.
Decim, tell us all about yourself.
Well, I'm John, and I play Decim, the proud parent, and I make whiskey in Ireland. And, find me on Instagram, Silosaurus Rex.
Sweet.
Yeah, big nerd here.
Yeah.
Look at
Okay, Doran.
Hi.
Hi.
I've made a lot of mistakes as Doran today. But he thinks they're all good, so hopefully it works out. Doran is he, him, just like I am. I am he, him as well. I go by Tric or the Hair Trick because puns are hilarious, and so is Cosmic Horror. I'm a variety streamer on Twitch that tries to focus on level design as much as possible, uses the game as backdrops to hold conversations of any and all kinds as long as people are respectful of one another. Recently, or more like the last year, I've been trying and desperately to get a Patreon up and running, so that's what I've been doing for D&D writing and art and all of that. So that's up and going at patreon.com/hairtrick-writing, I believe is what it is. So if you're interested in that, any and all feedback would be super appreciated. Just look at it and tell me, hey, there's a typo there, you dumbass, you're a writer, and go from there. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, and I will put everyone's social links and their Patreons and products and all that up in the show notes on YouTube. So go check them out. Follow where available. Buy their stuff when you can. It'd be awesome. I am Jeremy Hochhalter. I run this here channel on Twitch. I'm also over on Twitter at WH Pubs, Facebook at WH Publications. You can find me on DM's Guild and Drive Through RPG. We have a new Skylands thing coming soon that I can't wait to tell you about, but I have to wait to tell you about because NDAs. So hopefully, maybe by next week, I will be able to share that with you. Until then, everyone stay safe, be happy, take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you then. Bye.